So, have you heard of Viscounts of the West Kingdom? That's the last one in the trilogy of the West Kingdom series. Now, we're going to talk about all three of them, starting from Architects,
Paladins,
and Viscounts coming up.
Hi, it's Tarrant here.
And Stella from Meeple University. Welcome back to our Tabletop Diary. We have very exciting discussion today, and hopefully you have enjoyed our recent vlog, which we talk about how to teach board games according to us and what makes good two-player games. So in this one, we're going to talk about the West Kingdom Trilogy. Wah!
Yep, so the third game's just announced and is coming soon to Kickstarter. That's Viscounts of the West Kingdom. And the series started a couple of years ago with Architects and then more recently Paladins.
Yes, and we have played all of them.
Yep.
Well, we've got other Garfield games as well that we've played, but we want to focus on the West Kingdom this one.
Yeah.
So let's start with
So yeah, we have
Architects. Just this one.
So Architects was the first one. It's the simplest of the games. I like it. It is a lot of fun, and I like what it brought for something that is
worker placement.
Something that's a relatively simple game and easy to place. I like the twist on the worker placement.
Yes.
The whole starting with 20 workers and working through a game where you're using that many workers, but still having it be quite a simple and easy to teach game.
Mm-hmm.
I think this really is a good achievement. It is one of the really good achievements in the hobby over the last few years.
Decades. Literally. So we played that. I remember having played this, it was really quick. It was at CanCon 2019, I believe.
That'll be it, yeah.
Yeah, we played this there with Martin Wallace, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, it was our friend Steven as well. So yeah, we really liked that. And I remember racing at the end with Martin to reach that, was it Cathedral track? It's been a while. Cathedral track. And I think I got lucky. I beat Martin because we're aiming for the same one. We want to reach the top for the most points. And then I got it and I got lucky. I don't know how I got it. Yeah. But that was a really good. And then you were doing something else, and Steven.
Yep. I think what I really do like here is it's not because it's quite light, you can pretty much always do your own thing, but there's still really good interaction.
Yes.
I think the fact that it's managed to get that sort of interaction without a really serious action draft is really good, and that's really through the imprisonment mechanism.
I love that.
The fact that you can take the workers away, you put them in prison, and the whole timing mechanic on when that gets resolved and when the debts get handed out, which is a common feature across all three of these games. Clearly, it's something that that has been designed very specifically for these games, is having those timing points. Because you see it with the tax running out in Paladins and the collisions of the virtue and corruption in Viscounts.
Which we're going to talk about in a little bit more details. Now, by now, we'll probably have released one or maybe more videos for Viscounts. So anything that we talk about of these three games, if we've done anything, we'll put in the descriptions below so you can check that out.
Yeah, I think I find that mechanic, the way it times in Architects, is really nice, and I think, I really like the capture and release mechanic. And then you put it on top. It's actually quite a quick game. There's a lot of things to do, but it's a very quick little game, and you're surprised how much it ends on you. And I think it's going to, along with Raiders as an entry level sort of game, I think it's going to be around for quite a good time. Yeah,
I remember we played. Yeah, you're right. We played pretty quickly, and before you know it, it's finished. And I really like, as you say, that worker placement mechanics. I like when you can just have workers there and then getting more and more resources, but then you get captured. But, never be afraid to get captured. because that's just part of the game that it's not actually too bad.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's Architects. The next one is over there.
So the second one was Paladins.
Yep.
I think it's pretty widely known that this is the heaviest of... Well, when it came out, it was certainly the heaviest of the West Kingdom or the North Sea games. And it's definitely true. It's very much in that engine build, action chain, puzzle Euro sort of style.
Yes, yes. It reminds me a little bit of Lacerda style, where you chain this with that and then you get that bonus as well. If you time it right and you think a few steps ahead, which Tarrant is really good at. I think you played that and you won. I don't know if you...
Yep.
I think you get away with like quite a lot of points, I think.
I had a pretty good win, I remember that. It's also got... It has the Orléans sort of thing as well, where you can specialize certain actions and make them cheaper. So, I mean, if we take it back, if you're not familiar with the game, at the start of each round, you use your own deck to get a couple of coloured workers, and then everyone drafts the remaining set of coloured workers, and then you need certain combinations of workers to do each of the actions. And some of those actions get you resources, some of them make other actions cheaper, and then you've got your main point scoring actions, which are... You've got 3 attributes in the game. There's the red, blue, and green ones.
Yes. And
each action... You need one of the attributes and it boosts you in one of the others, so you're constantly chaining from one back to the other.
It has really good individual puzzles, and you really need to work that on your own player board. There are some interactions as well, but if you like that kind of like really puzzly and which one you want to do first, which one you chain it, which one comes first, that's the one.
Yeah, it is definitely the least interaction of the 3 between players. It does have a timing mechanic on the debts and when the tax runs out. I don't find it as engaging a timing mechanic as Architects has, but it does have that, and so those are where you've got the interactions. But yeah, it's certainly individual puzzle is the core part of Paladins.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Artisans. I just remember that.
Artisans is the expansion.
The Architects, yes.
Expansion to Architects adds a couple of other options to it.
To get the points, which is very interesting. Now, this is probably what you've been waiting for as well. The arts, all of them are done by the Miko. I really like the artwork. It's really bright, colorful, and it's cute. I feel like a lot of thoughts has been put into it. There's some details. You'll see. Okay. Ta-da! So this is the prototype. That's why we don't actually have the box.
Yeah.
And this is the rule book, which is not final. Everything's not final. Yeah. And we played that, and oh my god. I'll let you share it first, and then I'll go.
I really enjoy Viscounts. It's up there with Architects. They're both similar for me in how much I enjoy them. They are quite different games. So Viscounts has more of a... It's still... How do we say it? So it's got a Great Western trail-y sort of action rondel. So it's on a rondel rather than a point-to-point. Which you move around and go to the different places where you can do your actions. It's got a deck building side. It's got a tableau, hand/tableau management side. There's all these little moving parts which fit together quite nicely in what is actually a relatively straightforward game. You've got 4 actions.
Basically, yeah.
One of them is trading, which gets you resources.
To do better in other actions.
Yeah. To let you do the other 3 actions, which are the ones that will score you points.
Yeah. And second one is... building buildings, which is the engine building part of the game. That also chain, if you have certain resources, then your building action would be more efficient, and also the deck building part will help with that as well. The third one?
There's manuscript writing, which is largely endgame bonuses or some immediate bonuses.
Set collection parts of the game.
Set collection. And then there's also putting workers onto a castle. So there's a nice cute little castle in the middle.
That's right, yeah, the castle.
That's a mini area control game where you're trying to advance your own workers up the castle. That can get quite competitive because you can push, particularly in higher player counts, you can push each other's workers off the castle as you clamber your way to the top. So all those little mechanics, taking the manuscripts when they're there, hiring cards when they're there, picking the best spots on the building track, and then fighting for the castle. It takes what has a pretty significant individual puzzle element, but it makes it quite competitive as well. And you've got to be positioned in the right place to do certain actions. So it's quite a bit of thinking ahead to do. It's a really neatly put together game.
And you know what? I think one of my favorites, one is, you know, that deck building mechanics. Not just stop. It doesn't stop there, but when you play your card, you don't just play that particular card. So you have, well, you start with 3 cards in hand. You play it on your player board, and there's 3 of them, eventually 3 of them active. So you start with 1. The first one you have just the 1, but then you have some pre-printed one. But then eventually you have 3, in which you can then utilize to time your actions correctly at the right time, and then from there, depending on the icons you have, on all of 3 of them, and then you can do the action. I'm actually going around now. Oh my god! Did I win last time? I won last time, right? The game. Or did you?
No,
you won.
I think I won it.
You won.
Yeah, I had
no. I was thinking about the architects. This is the Viscounts.
But I think what you've done there, it does demonstrate with Viscounts. There's a lot of interlinking moving parts.
Yes.
It's hard to visualize and tricky to teach for that reason.
Yeah.
It looks very overwhelming to start with. But as I say, it all folds into 4 basic actions.
Yes.
And once you see the flow of a couple of turns, it actually goes pretty quickly, which is a really nice thing about this game.
Yeah.
It also has a timing mechanic, so some actions give you corruption, some give you virtue, and then when your things collide on the player board, you'll get some bonus or some penalty. Everyone else will get bonuses or penalties, depending on whether they're going a corrupt game or a virtuous game.
This is where the interaction part takes place, because you just have a look around, you know, what's going to happen, what's been happening, and then you might actually tailor your strategy with the virtue and the corruption. Yeah.
Because it's got this balance where a highly corrupt game will reward whoever's done the virtue side of things better, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So you've got to watch what others are doing and tailor to that. So it's got, I would say, there's more interaction than Paladins.
Yes.
It's not quite as difficult overall as Paladins. Certainly it's more difficult than Architects.
Yeah.
As long as you can get over that learning curve hurdle of all the moving parts that come in the game. It's really quite a fun game.
We are going to also have the how to play video for this tricky to teach game, so whether we have released it by the time this video releases or not, so just check that out in the descriptions below. We'll put the link there when we have it, and obviously don't forget to subscribe to us so you'll know when it's out. So what's your favorite out of the 3?
Overall, it's either Architects or Viscounts. I think I probably marginally prefer Viscounts, but I have more opportunities to play Architects because you can play that in wider groups, or you can pick, it's more well known. So I think they're both very close, and it probably depends on the day and how well I'm doing.
It's definitely more complex, but I recognize some of the icons and some of the mechanics. So if you're a fan of the West Kingdom, you would probably recognize some of them, and that's good. And the icon itself, they actually they're pretty good. They're pretty self-explanatory, and once you recognize some of them, you should be okay with the rest of them. I really like that mechanics. Oh, one thing I haven't mentioned about that card mechanics. So you have 3. When you have the 4th card that you play from your hand, you actually slide everything to the right, discard that, and then some cards have discard effects. Or some other cards has got, when in play you get the effect immediately, like coins or whatever, or recruit. And then others are permanent. So as long as you have that card, so that's like 3 turns, then you have the effect, like bonus when you trade, or bonus
extra icons
for something else.
Some of the actions.
Yes. And then when another one is when you discard that card, you have that bonus. So it's timing. I feel like timing is very important, and that's just one of the things that you can, like, a lot of way to scores as well.
Yep.
Well done on that game.
Yep. And I think it also, I know it's a sort of thing that appeals in deck builders. It's not that difficult to thin your deck as well. You got a lot of deck thinning options, and those who like to really tailor a deck can really make that work in Viscounts.
Yeah. And with the movement as well, I must say, you might probably ask, oh, so the cards will dictate your Viscounts, how many steps that you can move, but you can also mitigate that with coins. So there's this flexibility at which spot you move. You want to collect manuscripts when you set collected, when it's available, and it's really good, really well made.
Yeah. Overall, it's a very good trilogy. I think we're going to look back on this many years down the track, and the 2 trilogies, the North Sea and the West Kingdom, I think they're both going to be looked on very fondly.
I think
to have a whole trilogy that is together and considered together and that will be looked on fondly, I think it's quite rare.
I probably prefer the West Kingdom slightly better than the Raiders. Also, I like the Raiders so far. Don't get me wrong, but in overall, if you add these 3 compared to how many of the North Sea?
3 base games.
Yep.
There were a lot of expansions.
Yeah, I like that too. But if compared to the North Kingdom, then I probably prefer the North Kingdom.
West Kingdom.
Sorry, West Kingdom.
West Kingdom's a little more gamer, and they are a little bit heavier than the others, and I'd lean that way as well.
As well? Okay. Yep. So it looks like me and Tarrant has got similar taste in gaming, mostly, except that I like a few others than you. Yeah.
Oh, we both have we have some different styles.
Yeah. So
we have a lot of overlap.
Yes. So keep an eye on when Viscounts of the West Kingdom is going to be launched on Kickstarter. The plan currently is on the 3rd of March, I believe. So go to Garfield Games website and just sign up. And as I said earlier, I'll put any videos that we talk about, that if we have them, in the descriptions below. And if you have any questions you want to ask us about anything, as usual, write in the comment sections below. We really appreciate your comments, and I try to get back to you as quick as I can. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to us so you can get other updates when we have new videos.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to say?
Just thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, and bye.